All right, let's get into Beastman and animal worship that we see going on today in our world. As we got animal therapists in people's arms, we got dogs sleeping in beds, we got cats coming in, pooping and pissing in a litter box. They walk in there and then they get on your countertops. We got all these things going on, okay? So let's bring some things into a little perspective before we go into this world stage test and there's a balance with animals, and I grew up in a household where pretty much in the 80s or 90s or whatever animal was available, we tried it out in one way, shape, or form. Okay, and then my parents ended up owning a pet distributorship and basically becoming millionaires off selling rats and mice and such. So I've seen animal care in different levels. My mom is a lady who owned like 22 dogs or whatever at one point in time. She's owned 6 monkeys. We've owned 50, 60 birds at one time growing up. We had an animal room of cockatoos that she bred. She used to make, when I was a teenager, she made money selling birds and breeding exotic parrots or whatever. She bought a monkey. I've had basically a monkey brother for 30 years or whatever now. She got him when I was 14 or 15 or whatever. Either way, I've had a Cayman alligator, monitors, chameleons, ducks, ferrets, pigs, whatever. All right. So I've seen the care and love for birds, dogs, cats, rats, mice, hamsters, whatever, on all types of different levels, okay? I've seen how the USDA likes their animals to be cared for and those things. So as there was a point in time where I cut hair part-time and I delivered animals for them part-time, and it's kind of a deal I couldn't refuse because it's just a few hours, 6 or 7 hours worth of work, and it was like 800 or whatever dollars back then for 2 days or whatever. Anyways, it was a great deal. So I did that, and then I went and managed their company when I had my second child, and did that for a couple years or whatever, and they ended up selling the business, and that's a whole nother story within itself. We won't get into that, but the basically the time that I went into Oklahoma to work for them, it opened up a whole nother hell on earth, and then it got worse and worse and worse in different ways, and just to where it ended in the chapter 11 bankruptcy or whatever. But at the same time, it's at the peak of the farm or whatever, and then the farm with the pricing and the collapse in the market, I would say, as far as the pricing structure and not being able to chase the money and having the bad first year with Fusarium and all these other things that were stacked up, then it just all petered out at one time, kind of thing. And then that's where kind of that thing I mentioned where you're being squeezed through the time continuum, and you're just here, you're just like knowing, waiting, and whatever kind of thing. But so when I speak about these animal things, okay, I was the single dude with 4 dogs, all right, and I have had to put down dogs, and I've had to let dogs go, and different things in my life. And I've had a girlfriend back in the day. She stole my 2 gay chihuahuas, I called it, Steve and Stanley or whatever, right? So but there's a healthy place for animals, okay? And when you are bringing an animal in and locking it up in your house for 8 hours a day, or a cage for 8 hours a day, or whatever, we all know the thing. And keeping an animal in a cage like a monkey for however many years, or a bird that wants to fly. I mean, a bird. Imagine a bird, that eagle, that eagle in the head that just wants to fly and be free. You kept in a fucking cage all day long. And that's where you're at now, in the cage, and the Gates, the Bill Gates, all these things they're going to throw the towel on top of the, basically the towel is going on top of the cage where the eagle, the illegal or whatever, don't have a effing clue what's going on while they're changing the bulbs and whatever else. And this is kind of like where you want that bird to just shut up during the daytime. Just put a towel over it. That's kind of where we're at now with that eclipse. They're going to put the towel over it. And that's where the UFC and the FBI and those things, the Cash Patel, all those things would be going in and playing one focal point. Okay, so the Beast Man and the animal worship, that's the Doge and the E-God on that side. And then you have the Beast Man where they can, the inflation and the food and the dog food and the cat food and all these things, okay? And paying shelters, the shelters with turtles and crapshires and all those things. But we are wasting a lot of resources, time, money, cows, whatever, okay? A lot of these so-called vegans own animals or whatever, but they can't eat an animal, but they can own one and lock one up and shit, whatever, in their house and call it love. So we got all these animals, we got all these bags of food, got carbon taxing coming up, or carbon whatever for 2030 carbon deals. We see robot dogs, these types of things taking hold. So the dogs and the cats and the beds, and lying with the dog and cat, and the TikTok and Lyme disease, that fresh squeezed lime, all of these will play a role. And where the people want to get rid of their pets, but they won't be able to get rid of. That's where they're like and being brought down into hell, because they have this animal they know they gotta get rid of, but they just can't get rid of because this animal makes them. It controls them. Their begotten son is a dog, and that's man's best friend. And they don't have a man as their best friend because they're just a shitty human being. So they need an animal that they can treat however they want, that just comes licking their face and their balls and asshole and whatever else all at the same time. Lips, tongues, and assholes. Lips, tongues, and assholes. That's what you're eating with your hot dog on the old Great Outdoors. And the Great Outdoors is being served with that John Candy and that Red Dye 40 and whatever else shit. Or those the Three Musketeers, the little dookie rolls that people are serving up. And listen to me, people. I am the guy who had the bulldog, who had Parvo, all right? And I thank God it happened the way it did, because he almost shit all over my effing face, all right? Now, I just got the dog, pretty much, and it got Parvo for whatever reason, and I put it in the kitchen, because in my apartment at the time, it had the linoleum or whatever, right? So I woke up in the middle of the night, I slept by, because I had to do shots and whatever, keep my eye on or whatever. So I made a pallet by the kitchen or whatever, and I slept in my head by the dog's pallet or whatever, right? But I woke up in the middle of the night with shit all over, like my head was here, or like, where is it? Here's the kitchen thing. My head was here, and there was shit all over this, like if it went in the countertop or whatever, or not the countertop, the counter doors. Anyways, so I used to love animals, all right, but I have a different type of love for them now because I've seen what I've seen. I've seen the extreme side, and I've been to the other side, and I've had dogs first, and then I had kids and overlapped the dogs and kids and worked one into the other to where the kid is man's best friend. Okay, so you're wasting your time playing with some dog that you can't breed with or whatever when you can go out and play with your children and go play fetch with them and these other types of things. So y'all are just wasting away in one way, shape, or form this old tree, and this old tree is coming to be chopped down in different ways, shapes, and forms. And Elon's been given that chainsaw, and the dogs and such are scared of the chainsaws and whatever else. But and that eagle that rests on that nest, that's built a nest on that old dead tree, or that owl that is resting on that old scary witchy looking tree that's grown up in the garden. Okay, chop it down. So the animals are going to play a role against you soon enough in the next however many years or whatever as the wild times breaks open. And we have all this food. We have these people dying supposedly of starvation, or we got people that are starving and they can't afford meat or whatever's going on, right? We see all these other countries eating dogs and cats and whatever else, right? Why the hell are we spending millions of dollars or whatever on these shelters and facilities, and then we're also charging? It's a lot harder to get a dog than it is a kid these days. It's all like weird mixed up shit going on. Like, who cares adopts a fucking dog? Just get the dog out of here. You make it so freaking hard to get a dog and cat. You gotta give you shouldn't even need to give your name basically to get the dog out of there. Who cares what's going on with the dog? Just take the fucking dog. Okay? Somebody got the dog off the street. Somebody wants the dog. Who gives a shit what for? Anyways, the point is, dude, they're eating dogs and cats, whatever, in other countries. Alright? So, gonna be a point in time where you can't eat the cow, but you can eat the cat or whatever. It's just animal worship. Saying this one's clean, this one's unclean. Because the Spirit, the Holy Spirit that's inside of you is saying, well, I want to sleep with a dog. I want to sleep with that dog. Or I want that dog in my bed. Huh. I want that cat. Who shits. And my whole house reeks of shit and piss. I want that in my house. I want to live with that for 15 years. Oh, I want a puppy. I want to clean up piss and shit off my carpet for 6 months while I'm trying to teach it how to housebreak. And I also want it to bark and whine in the background because I'm doing things to it that it should never have to go through. Same with your kids. Whining and screaming at school. I don't want to be here. I want to be outside playing. Because recess, they tell you, is the most important time in the kid's life. And you're taking my whole fucking recess, my whole life from me. Anyways.